What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach here. And today I'm interviewing for the first time Jason Abell with Rewire. What's up, Jason?
Dave, man, I feel like I've won the lottery.
Oh, come on
I
now.
see all these other people that get interviewed, whether it's your Tuesday deal or some of your series that you're doing. And then I made the interview. So I'm here. How am I doing? I'm doing great as a result of that. Come on.
Good. Well, I'm glad that I got you. Nothing against Scanlon, my brother. By the way, everybody, if you've never watched an interview with Steve Scanlon, I mean, they're epic. Some of the all-time best interviews Steve's been part of, your partner. But we're doing this one. So for everybody on this call, just to give you some backstory, while we've known each other, we haven't really connected. I was at MBA. You reached out to me, MBA Annual in Washington, D.C., which I guess is driving distance from where you live?
Yeah, so I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. And so when the MBA was in DC, I reached out to all the people like you that I know from my mortgage days and ended up connecting with a ton of people. So it was great.
Yeah, it was great. And it was a great connection for the two of us because just the fact that you were Steve Scanlon's partner, I'm like, the guy's legit. He's a coach. You're a badass. I've heard good things. But I did not know that you had done $100 million a year in personal production. Didn't know that. I thought that was awesome and it gives you a lot of credibility as a coach. And then to top it off, you did $100 million in annual production and managed a branch of $500 million. Craziness. That's pretty impressive.
Oh man, I appreciate you saying that. I tell you what, I got lucky because I had a lot of really good people around me during those years. I mean, I was a mortgage banker from 1993 to the beginning of 2014. And during those years, as I was kind of preparing for my time with you, Dave, I was thinking about what exactly makes a mortgage banker successful, especially in today's market, because well, it's changing a little bit and it's a little different than it was a few years ago. And the thing that kept on coming up was the idea of USP, what's your unique selling proposition? And I remember when I was coming up through the years, I had 3 different USPs for different points in my career. And so, when you call out those numbers, I listened to that and I'm like, that was a lot of fun. Like we did some fun things. I had some cool people around me, but it wasn't always like that. And I don't want to portray like, from day one, we were out there doing $100 million of business. My very first USP in 1993, I was 21 years old in the business. I looked like I was 16 and I didn't know a darn thing. And so rather than looking like a deer in headlights with realtors and builders, the USP was, I'll call you back in 15 minutes or less. That was all I had. And do you remember in 1993, we all had pagers, right?
I was just going to say, and I got
exactly.
That was a USP.
I know. I had a pager, and I was going to call you back in 15 minutes or less. That was my only USP. And darn it, it worked after a while because when realtors couldn't, one of their highest values is communication. All referral partners love communication. And I didn't necessarily know how to take a 1003 at the time, but I could call you back in 15 minutes or less. I didn't have a family. I was a young guy. I didn't have any loans to work on. But I could call you back in 15 minutes or less. So that shtick worked for a while, and realtors ended up, when they couldn't get a hold of the regular loan officer, they ended up calling me, and I did get back to them right away. So that actually worked for a while. That got me, after a couple of years to, I don't know, $8-9 million worth of business. But then the market changed. You want to know why? Not because rates went up or down, because all loan officers got cell phones. And that doesn't sound like a big deal today, but back then in the late 90s, mid 90s, it was a big deal. So then I changed my USP. I'm like, okay, what now? Everybody's going to, you can call anybody and get them right away. And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, by that time, I did realize, gosh, if you work harder, you can actually take more applications. And yeah, there was working smarter, but I wasn't smart enough then. And so my USP then was, you know what, I'm going to work 24/7. And that's not a good USP today. And we certainly don't recommend our clients to do that. But at that time, it was a way for me to really stay out of trouble. So the USP went from I'll call you back in 15 minutes or less to I'll outwork my competition. I'll work some days. I'll go to brokers open houses. I'll take applications. I was Jason on the spot. I'll take applications at 9 p.m. if you want me to. And again, I'm not recommending that, right? Everybody hear that. But at the time, I was able to do it, and it worked for me. Again, no family, no nothing, and kept me out of trouble.
Oh, good. You were going to say something?
I was just going to say that USP didn't work. In 2000, my wife and I had our first child, and I was working 24/7, and I was hitting a ceiling of about 18 million at the time. And I was burning myself out and starting to have kids. And I just recognized that didn't work. And so I was like, okay, well, this USP isn't working anymore. What now? And that's when I ended up hiring a coach and really figured out that it's not working harder. It's not making so many sales calls, although those things are important, but I just needed to change my mindset. I needed to change my frame of mind. And so that's where the real breakthrough went from 18 million, 30, 40, 85, 100, 130, plus. And so you asked one question. I just talked for about 10 minutes. I apologize, but that's kind of different USPs for different market circumstances, different personal circumstances. And we do a workshop now it's called, put the U back in the USP, because it's not really about the market or what changed, but what is it that you can bring to the market? What's your unique selling proposition? So anyways, when I saw some of your interviews over the last couple of weeks with, you've got Jeremy Forcier talking about the seller buy down, Kelly Zitlow and Bill Hart's talking about the 3 pillars of purchase business, and Kelly Zitlow talking about presenting strategies. I'm thinking these people, they know what their USP is, and it's not the USP that will work for everybody, but it's their specific USP that works in this market today. And that was impressive to me.
Yeah, well, I think the way you told that story is a great setup for where I think we want to take today's call. Because let's face it, speed has always been a value prop in the mortgage business. But now with the digital mortgage upon us and, Rocket Mortgage, the concept of a close loan in 20 days is not a unique value proposition that I keep promising. I close 24 hours. You just can't keep up with the Rocket. And so everybody I talk to, it ranges from I'm having C-suite meetings to deploy mortgage coaches and advice platform at a company. And they typically, when they make that kind of C-suite investment, they want us to create an advice selling culture through a combination of a tool, technology, and concepts and training. And then when an individual loan officer signs up, he's basically saying, or he or she is going, I want to win with advice. And so here's the deal. We're in today's market. We're recording this in the last couple of days of October of 2018. So if you're watching this, in the future, just recognize that today rates have spiked, leads are down, price compression is upon us, rate shopping is happening more than ever. Disruptors. So if you're watching this a couple of years from now, believe it or not, Amazon wasn't always in the mortgage business. But today, all the top real estate companies are in the mortgage business now. Zillow's in the mortgage space, Redfin's in the mortgage space. Keller Williams has a mortgage company. By the way, that all just happened this quarter. So that's like, we are in this moment where change is happening. And I don't meet with C-suite executives or top loan officers that are not concerned. They're like, whoa, I've got to change. I've got to upgrade my value prop, and it can't be speed. I do need to deliver speed, like that is table stakes, but I need to make advice, my value prop. And if I'm talking, if you're listening to this, if you're a manager, even if you're a branch manager, I think you want to build a culture of advisors, and it's not just a word, it's not a sentence, it's a skill. It's like you're upgrading the skills of your sales force to ask great questions, deliver advice. And by the way, when you deliver advice, it's not a GFE, an LE, it's advice. So Jason, you and I did this call because you've got some really unique concepts and strategies that will help people change culture. And so I know we're not going to bake it in this one interview, but I do want to give some tangible value, and why don't we center it around the seller buy down, just because that is a hot strategy that every loan officer in America needs to get their mind around how to sell that, educate around that. So for anybody that wants to do that, like where do they start, and what are some of the things you see people doing wrong?
Yeah, I'm almost giddy about what's happening in the market right now. And I know that sounds, sometimes I say that to our clients, our coaching clients, and like, well, what the heck are you talking about? And I tend to be a contrarian, because when things are getting a little chaotic in the market, whether it's rates, new companies entering the space like you just mentioned, when things look like they're bad. I mean, at the MBA conference in DC, that was a national MBA conference. You know what? There was some doom and gloom. There just was, and you saw it. And I'm sitting there kind of like going, okay, this is where the successful people and this is where the successful companies are going to emerge from this. And I get a little giddy about that. And I think, you talk about the seller buy down. That's just one example where you've got loan officers like in your community, and there's other loan officers around the country where they're going, okay, the cheese has moved. What is it that I need to do now so I remain relevant, so I remain unique, so I'm adding significant value, not just glitzy marketing value, but I'm adding real value to buyers, borrowers, and sellers. And I think the seller buy down is just one of those examples. And so I think that, I forget which one of your interviewers it was, it might've been Jeremy, but he said something like, look, I just need to get back to doing my job. And do you remember that quote? And I do. When I heard that, I'm like, this is a dude that understands that he needs to add value to the market. He's thinking about other people and how to add value. He's not going, oh, I hope people call me, or I hope people like me, or I don't know if Amazon's going to get in the market, what's going to happen? No. He went, nope, I got to do my job. I got to add value. And if I add enough value via, maybe it's the seller buy down like you talked about, maybe it's a bunch of other things, and we can talk about some of those things. But when he said those words, what I heard him say was, man, I've got to get my mindset right. And if I have my mindset right, then things like buy or sell down, seller buy down, things like other unique ways of presenting information to borrowers the way that Mortgage Coach does, using the technologies out there instead of being scared of them, leaning into them and doing those things. I think all of those are an example of, that's why I'm giddy. That's why I'm excited about what's happening in the market right now.
Well, one thing I've learned over a lot of years of helping organizations change sales culture and watching individual loan officers adopt Mortgage Coach. Because I've got loan officers that are millennials that can type 100 words a minute, that they learn Mortgage Coach. And I've got loan officers that can't type, they hate computers, they're like, where's the I? And by the way, they use Mortgage Coach. And what they all have in common is something in between the head shifted. They changed their why. They changed their mindset. And so let's do this, because this is what you guys do really, really well at Rewire. And one of the reasons why I've interviewed Steve so many times, because you guys have a unique formula for driving cultural change, for driving individual change. And by the way, everybody listen to this, I think I'm going to come up with a title. It's going to be something like The Fastest Path to Change, because it's right here. It's between the ears. So why don't you kind of share some unique ideas? And
I want to share. No, I will. I'll share my screen in just a second. What you're saying, I'm just listening to you. I'm smiling to myself because I talked about being excited because the market is weird, but I'm excited because there are people that are actually getting what you're saying. The fast part isn't like, oh, I gotta I got to learn the seller buy down right away. Nope, it's the shift up here first. And when that happens, when the shift up here happens, then you just become the person that seeks out the different tools and different twists and different buy down technique, mortgage coach, that you're the person that becomes the person that does those types of things, as opposed to what's the new latest greatest and you chase this and then you go after that squirrel and then you put out this fire. And so that's what I'm interested in. And I think it's catching on. In the last 90 days, we've doubled the amount of people that we're coaching under what I'm about to show you. So can I share my screen with you now and show you, I'll show you what.
By the way, you doubled the amount of people based on what you're going to show us. I mean,
well, this is why I start to get excited. So this right here is what we call the Iceberg model of success. And I guess we listed here the Iceberg model for mortgage results. Everybody has seen different iceberg models. There's a little bit that's above the water, and then there's all kinds of stuff below the water. But I want to show you what we've observed. I was able to experience this in my own career, doing $100 million, plus running a $500 million branch. But here's the thing that excites me. I did that back in the day. We've got clients right now in this market that are increasing market share, that are increasing production. And oh yeah, they're not working 24/7, even though the market is shifting. And so here's the iceberg model. At the very, very tip is the results. The tip of the iceberg is what everybody kind of sees. That's how much production am I doing? How many sales calls am I making? How many applications did I take? How many fundings do I have? That's what everybody sees above. And then below that, still above the waterline, are what actions do I need to take to get there? Do I need to learn mortgage coach? Yeah, you probably do. Do I need to learn seller paid buy downs and regular buy downs and all the technologies? Yep, you do. You used a term.
CRM. You got to learn your CRM. You got to use your CRM every day.
Man,
every hour.
we do a whole workshop on databasing and CRM. That we should do a whole different interview for. I believe so much in that, not only back in the day, but today. I'll just give you a quick example. I had a client just last week. He committed to making 5 calls a day to his database. And the next coaching session call that we had, he's like, Jason, it worked. I picked up 2 refis and a purchase. I'm like, refinances? I thought rates were going up. He's like, I know, but I just called him and talked to him and see how they were doing. And one of them was finishing their basement. Another one needed cash to do something else with college and tuition and things. He's like, this is crazy. And so the actions on here on the iceberg model, yeah, you need to do those things. There's no question about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to say something real quick, because guys, when you see those 2 things right there, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so pumped to have Jason on this call, that is the playbooks that I create. Like when I create the seller buy down playbook, it's a lot of results, some stories, and some actions. And by the way, I'm really proud of the content. And by the way, I'm going to put a link down below to the seller buy down playbook, and it's got every action you need to take, every strategy, every result. And then we have the lead conversion playbook. It's crazy. Like if you want to optimize your leads, put a link down below that. And it's got all the actions you need to do, all the things you need to learn. But here's the challenge. And one of the reasons I loved this interview and where it's going is that there's a lot of stuff it doesn't have. And there's a lot of things that you need to do. And if you don't do those things, if you don't do what Jason's going to show us right now, you never get there. Or you read it and you're like, okay, I need to do these 5 things, and you end up doing 1 or 2. And then you know what? You forget about those other 5 things and you move on to something else. So anyways, I just wanted to, promote a couple playbooks down below. We've got some good ideas and actions, but you got to do a lot more. Anyways, keep it rolling, man.
Well, what you said is important, because those actions, whether it's the playbooks that you do, the technology that you provide, there's really good information out there. That's the ticket to the game. Those actions, they do actually lead to the results. If you don't do those things, nothing happens until somebody takes action. So if you don't take action, you won't get the results that you're looking for. But here's the thing. What we find is it's not the information that people need. I could Google today how to be a successful loan officer, and I probably see your mug up there and all your videos and all your things. But it's not the information that people need because it's at all of our fingertips. If it was just the information, Dave, we'd all be billionaires with rock hard abs, but it ain't, we're not. And that's why we need to know what to do. But here's what I really want to talk about today and tell your viewers. Below the waterline, there is some big, great thing about what's going on in here. What are our thoughts? And what are our beliefs? We become what we think about. So if we look at the news all the time and we're looking at how bad things are with the rates going up and we're commiserating with realtors and referral partners and other loan officers that are talking about doom and gloom, then guess what? We're going to start believing it is all doom and gloom. And we're going to be thinking about that. And when that is our thought pattern, then we do chase after this action or that action, or, oh, let me try this over here. And it's chasing, but nothing is really getting done. So what we do is we literally try to help our clients rewire the way that they're thinking. And if we can help them do that, then instead of having them do the actions that lead to the results that we're talking about, we help create people that they are the person that just does those things. So you see the difference there, as opposed to like, okay, I'm just going to Google, what do I need to do to be a successful loan officer? Oh, I got to go make sales calls. Oh, okay, I'll go make some sales calls. Oh no, they're not working. Well, I better get this new technology out here. Let me try that for a couple of weeks. Oops, maybe that's not working either. If you change your thought pattern and your beliefs, and this is all backed by neuroscience. That's one of the best things about this is we've got research and data and studies that show if we can help literally rewire the way that people are thinking about themselves and their own narrative, then they just become the type of loan officer and the type of people that does the actions that gets to the results that they're looking for. And again, it makes me giddy because we just see it working left and right in the market today, even though it's a bad market or a changing market or a chaotic market. And then below that, way, way down below, you've got emotions and senses and insights. You know, you hear EQ, emotional intelligence. We actually work with people on their emotional intelligence. How is it that when they get up in the morning, do they engage the world? Starting with literally right when they open their eyes. We go so deep with people that we not only work on their morning routines, we work on from the time that they open their eyes in the morning, even before their feet hit the floor, what the heck is going on? That's where we start. We start at that level. Now, we're working our way up to those results because we do ultimately want to see the results, but we're going to start way, way down deep. And Dave, I got to tell you, people are doing it and business is increasing, better relationships are happening as a result of it. It's just been a lot of fun.
So I want to try to get tactical. I don't know if we're prepared to unfold this. And I like to keep these interviews 20 minutes ish. And I think we're gonna kill that. And I can tell already that you and I need to invite you to one of our Tuesday interviews if you're up for it. And go deeper on this, but let's speak to the loan officer. So let's just say seller buy down. Like, I know this is a great strategy. In order to do it, I need to create 5 TCAs, 5 seller buy downs. In order to do that, I need to take the time to actually, watch a video, maybe show up for a call. Which, by the way, that's where we lose a lot of people. They know they should do it. They want to do it. And then there's something they need to learn, like they need to slow down, schedule a 30-minute jam session and actually do the work. And not, by the way, when you're learning, not be like texting and emailing and distracted, but do the work.
So true.
And they don't do that. So kind of going, so by the way, if you're watching this and you're one of those people, which everybody on here, it's a question of whether we're those people today or not, but we're all those people. What are
So
some what are some specific, like, I know I need to get after it. I know I need to do the right things. I need to quit watching news, start watching Mortgage Coach channel. That is the Netflix for the loan officers is the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. But again, you can watch too much of it, but what are some tactical things they could do? You said morning routine, like, put some meat on the bone.
No, you're such great questions that you're asking me. And I have to smile when I hear you say, what are some quick things people can do? And then, then you said, okay, they've got to slow down and watch a half an hour video. But here's the funny thing, is a half an hour, that's not that long, right? Like, you just need to do it. But what you said some things in there, I don't even know if you know the importance of some of the nuances that you said there. One is slow down, okay? Secondly, turn off everything else. Right now, you and I are 100% focused on each other. I don't have email going. I don't have my phone buzzing. I knew that we've got time for one another. You did the same thing for me, and we've got 100% of each other's attention. That's a biggie right there. And like you said, it's not a question of do we know what to do. There's this thing called our lizard brain, and you've talked to Steve about the lizard brain, the things that the lizard brain seeks. And one of the things is familiarity, and the other thing is habits. So we're going to look very quickly at habits. We're going to look at morning routines, and just you asked for tactics. Sleep is a biggie. So here's a couple quick, I'll just give you a couple quick tactics to deal with the lizard brain, still the lizard brain, help you focus, and then ultimately do some of these other tactical things that you're talking about, learning some of the techniques, learning some of the technologies. But sleep is a biggie. So here's just two items that'll help with sleep, and then we'll move on to one or two other things. First thing is no more snooze button. No more snooze button. When the alarm goes off, that's the time to get up and go. I think Zig Ziglar used to call it the opportunity clock, not the alarm clock. When that thing goes off, your feet hit the ground and you get up and start moving. Second thing, because you need to, at bedtime, a lot of people are watching TV or watching a screen in bed. To help with sleep, no screens at least an hour before bedtime. Because what happens is, there's all kinds of science behind this, and I could talk for hours about it, but the blue light that goes into our eyes and the images that we see, even if it's good stuff, even if they're watching you and me on video before they go to bed, which I hope they're not actually, but if they were, that's not good for them, because things happen with the information that's going into your brain right before you go to bed. So sleep is a biggie. And then the second thing that I would look at is habits. We've got workshops on habits. We even have tools on our websites about habits. But the lizard brain loves to seek habits, and it doesn't differentiate between good habits and bad habits. And so we just teach people, look, if we need to look at a minute by minute of your morning routine and then the remainder of your day, we're going to be able to spot some things that don't serve you really well, that you don't even know it, that are habitual. If we can clear out some of those things and replace them with habits that do serve you, and literally rewire your brain. There's circuitry where in your brain they say neurons that fire together wire together. If you can rewire your habits for success and successful habits with morning routines and these types of things, then you can do the actions that we've been talking about and then get the results that you're looking for. So we're really just scratching the surface here, but there's a couple tactics there.
Well, let's do this. Just let's stop sharing the screen, and let's you and I just close this out. And also, while I'm not going to schedule the Tuesday call right here, if you're watching this, we're going to have a Tuesday interview somewhere really near where we'll unpack this as a playbook. And the two playbooks in Mortgage Coach land are lead conversion. You've got to be a lead conversion machine. And by the way, that means you need to be an in-house leader. Like, if you want to optimize conversion, there's a lot of tactics and best practices, But at the end of the day, you can't do it based off lowest rate and fastest transaction. You have to do it. And by the way, unless you're, Quicken or the future Zillow, but like if you're a referral-based local loan officer and you want to play to win, it's got to be an advice. And then in today's market, we're going into November. I'm sure when we do this next call, it'll be November. You need to be a strategy leader.
That's
you
right.
need to come to realtors with, hey, you got this house that you're getting ready to have to lower the price on, and it's been on the market too long. I got a strategy for you.
That's right.
You need to be that person. So we're going to do a Tuesday interview where we go deep on that. But I want to schedule that. I want to get one more thing. I also, and I don't know if you're going to go here, but last time I interviewed Steve, it was at Social Surveys.
Oh yeah.
Creating Wow.
Love those guys.
Oh my God. First of all, they're amazing. But Steve did this meditation there was 100 people in the room, and we all meditated together.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I went and him and I made like a 5-10 minute video on the power of meditation and a couple takeaways. I'm going to put a link down below to that. So why don't you give us one or two more tactics, and then I want to make sure everybody knows how to connect with you, because that's another thing. I am committed to our community's success and results, and I realize that between our tech and the content that we do have, it's only going to get them so far, because if they don't kind of go beneath the iceberg and do this other stuff, they're not going to do what's above the iceberg. So give us a couple more tactics, and then let's schedule another call.
No problem. I'm glad you brought up the meditation deal that Steve did at the WOW Summit for Social Survey. That was one of the most highly rated pieces of that whole event that they had. And Steve didn't even intend on doing that. It just kind of worked out that way. Everybody ended up getting down like literally on the floor and doing a meditation, and that was rated very highly. And the reason that it was rated highly, Dave, is because people were forced to get rid of all of the distractions and slow down. And it was only for 10 minutes, but people were like, okay, this is amazing. And so you want a tactic, believe it or not, if you want to be a successful loan officer, mindfulness and meditation should be a part of your day. And I don't even care if it's 5 minutes of your day. Our publishing company, Red Loser Press, one of our coaches just wrote a book called The Art of Being Present. And whether it's that or you go to Headspace is an app that you can use for meditation. That is a thing right now. If you make meditation part of your day, you will do more loans. I'm convinced that that's a truism. And so that would be one tactic. And then really just looking at your sleep. Believe it or not, those are two things where if you go there, then when you go to study Mortgage Coach, or you go to study the latest and greatest program guidelines, so you're intelligent, so you're going and meeting with a new realtor, if you're making those things part of your practice, you're a better you when you go out into the market and do some of the other things that we're talking about.
I love this. I love this. So first of all, if you're watching this, you're getting value. Hopefully you give us a like, you share it with your mortgage friends. But so every playbook that you've ever read from Mortgage Coach, always just put the rewire note on it and go, am I getting enough sleep? Quality sleep, not TV in bed sleep with TV going after I fall asleep.
That's right.
Which, I don't do. I mean, that's one of the things. I don't meditate nearly as much as I should, and I know I need to, but I get my sleep on. And then, meditation, sleep, and morning routine. We're going to unpack this in a Tuesday call. If someone wants to get in touch with you, whether it's to hire you guys as a keynote, whether it's your coaching programs, I know you guys are doing a lot of great things. How does the community connect with you guys?
The best way is our website, rewireinc.com. You go there. We're all there. We're pretty you'd be proud of us, Dave. You run a tech company. I mean, we're pretty technologically advanced. You hit us there, and we're going to get in touch with you. So we've got all the LinkedIn and the Twitter and everything. But I mean, that's the best place is hit our website, rewireinc.com. and be happy to answer. And we got all kinds of free tools and stuff on there.
Do you guys still have that lizard brain test from the website? Like if they
Oh
go to your
yeah,
website?
I'm glad you asked about that. Lizardquiz.com. You can put it in your show notes. Lizardquiz.com, and it's a free assessment, and you can see what the heck is going on with your own lizard brain, and it produces a personalized assessment. Again, it's free. And it tells you not only what's going on with your lizard brain, but what I like about it is it gives you an individualized report on, here's some tactics, you like tactics, here's some tactics that you can do to help your lizard brain, again, to then help you do more of what you're looking to do in life. Whether it's more loans, better relationships, whatever it is, it's lizardquiz.com, and that's a lot of fun. People like that.
Well, man, this has been a great interview. I think, Steve Scanlon, sorry, man, my new man, the new rewire guy at Mortgage Coach is Jason. No, I'm kidding. It's be fun to get you guys both on a call one of these days.
We should do it.
Yeah. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I look forward to
all mine. I appreciate being a part of the David Savage Mortgage Coach community, man. It's an honor.
All right. Take care, brother. Have a good one.
See you, Dave.
Remember, everybody, give us a like, share it, and reach out to these guys. If you are putting on a sales rally, I'd recommend considering a meditation. I don't know if you guys want to scale what you did, but I mean, it really did put me in a better position to get more from the day. It was a great way to start the day. So you guys are awesome, man. Take care, brother.
Thanks, Dave. Take it easy, man.